The sound of sirens filling Yonge-Dundas Square last night. A brazen shooting in a busy square leaves one man dead. Terrifying moments as shots ring out just after 11 o'clock. The mayor among those expressing their dismay over a rash of gun violence in the city. Well, good evening. It has been an incredibly violent week in Toronto's downtown core. This is the second time in a week that Torontonians had to wake up to news of a very public murder. In fact, it happened just behind me here at that garbage can, and it happened as we were going live for the 11 o'clock news, and you can actually hear the sounds of the gunshots as we were transitioning in between stories. Have a listen. Now, that happened just after the 11 o'clock live on our net newscast. Members of Toronto's emergency task force rushed to the scene to help in the investigation. Police, however, are now looking for 3 to 4 suspects, but so far no suspect description has been released. The area of Yonge-Dundas Square was locked down for several hours. There has been no update from police all day, but here's what homicide detectives had to say early this morning.
We're at the early stages, and we're currently looking for suspects involved in this incident, conducting an extensive video canvass of the area, and appealing to any witnesses who may have been in Dundas Square and the surrounding area around 11 p.m. last night.
Those flowers left here in the square for the victim, and we spoke with the mayor via Skype from Halifax, and he addressed the rash of gun violence that we've been seeing in the city. He calls these type of events and attacks shocking.
Any incident of violence like this in the city is shocking, and I've talked to the chief and the deputy chief of police, and first of all, I know they're devoting all of their efforts to making sure we track down the people who did these things, but they've also assured me that they have deployed additional resources to try and address this kind of wave, and these things often come in waves, as the chief has told us before, but to address this wave of incidents.
Now, the name of the victim has not been released. Now, just under an hour before the shooting, an officer from 51 Division allegedly sent an email straight to the chief, Mark Saunders, outlining his concerns about understaffing. Now, neither Toronto Police or the head of the policing union are denying the authenticity of this email, and City News obtained a copy of it, and part of it reads, quote, "We have 5 cars working in 51 Division, and all are tied up. We have 87 cars here helping, but the calls keep piling up." And it goes on to say, quote, "The time for lip service to getting help is over. We require police officers on the road immediately, and a police officer is going to get hurt from the lack of backup." We'll hear some response.
The email that was sent out from the officer, again, speaks to the frustration about the response times. It's not just the shootings, but response times in general, and the amount of police officers that we have available each and every day in this city. But that is typical in, our divisional staffing model. There's generally less than 175 police officers patrolling the whole city at any given time.
The chief and commander are very much aware of the concerns that are raised. The chief has visited police stations all across the city, and he speaks to frontline officers. He's aware, and he and the commander are doing the best they can to ensure that people have the resources they need.
The email mentions that there were 5 cars working and all were tied up. Were all cars tied up when that call came in last night?
I don't have the information for that call, but there is the ability, directed from headquarters, to move resources from around the city to go to where they're most needed, and that happens on an ongoing basis.
Again, we have no suspect description to give you, but anyone with information is being asked to call police or Crime Stoppers.